What's up, everybody? What's going on? Good evening, and welcome to Today with Kay. It's your girl Kayla in the building. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing tonight? I hope y'all are doing fabulous. I am on Colors People Time this evening. However, we're going to get started. Yes, we are. So, want to introduce some people on my panel. I'm running a little bit behind. We're all running behind. So it's okay. You know what I'm saying? So people will pop in and out, but thank y'all for coming to the show. So on our beautiful panel, we have my girl Lucky here tonight. Super excited for her to be here.
I'm here. Give me a second.
No worries, babe. We got Mr. Trill AC in the building. What's up? Thank y'all for being here tonight. This is going to be an interesting conversation. We're also going to have Curtis Cares coming in, and we might have some appearances from some others as well. So Curtis will be on in a little bit. But yeah, so let's start off with some housekeeping. Starting off, how's everyone doing tonight? Y'all good tonight?
Incredible. How you doing?
I'm actually stressed. I'm going to go ahead and be honest. I am stressed because anyone that works in corporate America understands my pain. It is EOY, end of the year, and it sucks. There's so much shit to do. I've been swamped the past few days, but I am here and I'm doing my very best. But yeah, how are you?
Hold strong, man. I'm an accountant, so I already know what that EOY look like, man. We got annual close next month, so that's a whole hassle. I hear you.
Yeah, it's a little more than I bargained for, but tomorrow at noon, it's gonna be great. Like, bye for almost 2 weeks. Almost right. 2 weeks, literally. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't subscribed to the channel. I see y'all be pulling through on me on Sunday at Cooking with Kay. Thank y'all for coming by and pulling up on me on Sundays. That's super, super fun. So shout out to the cruise season. Love y'all. They'll be live at 10:30 Eastern. So we'll see y'all then. Shout out to our sponsors, Pink District, sexy adult entertainment, clothing, and toys. You can definitely head over to pinkdistrict.com, check them out. And then obviously big shout out to the Monet Group, our main sponsor, Refresh, Create, Innovate, event planning, and such. And shout out to LaPJR. So let's get started. This is going to be an interesting evening because it's super specific topic focused. And I'm excited to see what people have to say about this video and this clip. And this perspective that I'm coming from with it tonight. As y'all see, the title says, everyone wants to be the next king of the pod. Everybody want to be king. Everybody want to be Mr. Kevin Samuels, the originator, the orator of YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Rest in peace to the GOAT.
Very much so. Rest in peace to him. He clearly made his mark while he was here. So there's nothing that you can take away from that. That man definitely deserves his flowers. Made a name for himself. So that's one thing y'all want to take. Definitely take that.
Make sure there is always the Podfather.
The Podfather? What is this term?
Nah, I want no plus of that crown, man. I'm gonna let them guys fight for it.
You didn't see when it was like a tweet or something?
Who came up with that? I want to know about that.
I think Trill is self-proclaimed. I'm not sure, but they was calling him the Podfather.
The Podfather. Okay, who came up with this?
We was on Twitter and they was talking about like who like next up and all of that, blah blah blah. And like one of the fans in Crusader Nation was like, you know, ain't none of y'all fucking with the Podfather and da da da. So I didn't even see it, but he tagged me in it, and I come back to my phone, notifications going crazy. So everybody like, wow, he got this much control over these grown men. They calling him the Podfather. So it like went viral. They like, dog, where's your father at? How you let this man run your life and da 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 da. So it went viral. So I just leaned into it. I was like, what? Podfather it is.
You know what? I kind of like that. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, that's not bad, actually. I can see that on a shirt.
Definitely.
You're gonna have shirts. You're gonna have shirts.
maybe I'm thinking about it. We're gonna see.
Nah, for real. I could see that on a shirt. I could definitely see that on a shirt. And I could see people buying that too. Specifically me.
I had to go on and knock that out for you. I got you.
I mean, that is really cool though. That is really cool. Yeah, but I mean, just throughout, as we've seen since his passing, there have been more men that have started podcasts than are probably paying child support at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of people that have a podcast, that have a show and things of that nature. And so, like, I just kind of want to get into this conversation. So there was a video I was scrolling. Let's give the backstory. I was scrolling on Facebook. I still do Facebook. Sorry, y'all. I'm a real millennial. Facebook is the GOAT. Okay. I was scrolling the other day and I saw this video of this podcaster man. I never seen him before, but apparently has a large following. Y'all can let me know if y'all know who this person is. I don't know, and I didn't do any research on him. And I don't care, but I saw that and I said, hey, what? Maybe he has a point. Maybe people just want to say something to have something to say, even though they really don't have anything to say. They don't really have any valuable advice that they can give, but they look good. They sound good. They selling their dream. I don't know. So let's just go ahead and get into the video because I'm just ready to kind of talk about it and see if whose side you guys are on. The first side that we're gonna hear is the person reviewing the clip, and then we'll give our opinions. And I can see this getting into some different spaces and places. So let's go. Make sure that y'all give me a thumbs up, like if y'all can hear. Make sure you like the video right now and let me know in the comments what y'all are thinking about the video after y'all see this. And yeah, so let's
for the men anymore.
Because they're tired, bro. They have to go to work every day. That's not hard.
They're tired?
Yeah, they got to go to work every day, just like you.
What are they tired of?
Of working. It's not hard. I mean, that shouldn't even be like, I don't even understand the question. Like, they're tired. Aren't you tired when you get home from work?
They're working every day, so they're tired. That's why I don't want to cook or clean.
Yeah. You think I want to work 8 hours and then come home and then cook and clean? I mean, I do it because I have to. I have 5 children. But yeah, I mean.
Do you have a woman right now?
What's that?
Do you have a woman right now?
I've been married for over 20 years.
Okay. Does your wife work?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the roles in a marriage?
What are you talking about, roles? Everybody does what they have to do.
Well, okay. What do you do? What does she do?
For a living?
No, in the house for the marriage. What do you guys do? What are your roles?
Role? I don't understand the question. She does what needs to be done that day if she has time to do it, and if she doesn't, I do it. I do what needs to be done that day, and if I don't have time to do it, she does it. But roles, I don't know what you're
How do you not know what roles are in a marriage? You're married for 20 years. You guys don't have any roles?
Those don't exist. Because those don't exist. Like, I'm not white. I'm not a white Christian man. I don't.
What are you talking about? I'm not white. What does that have to do with anything?
Oh, because you're trying to live up to like some white supremacist ideal of the
what are you talking
family.
about?
I don't subscribe.
Nobody
to
said
that.
nothing about no supremacy.
Teamwork makes the dream work, friend. We a team. Ain't no roles.
What do you mean there ain't no roles?
It's not that hard to understand. You said.
The Starbucks commercial is.
What do you mean there ain't no roles?
It's not that hard to understand. You said, why do women not want to cook and clean? They're tired. They have to go to work.
Okay.
I answered that question.
Okay.
You said, what are your roles? I said, we're a team.
If there's something that needs to be built in the house.
Okay, before we before we get to the next part of the questioning, he was going to go in with him, right? This young man has a podcast somewhere in the world. Okay. And this person called in, right? This young man on the podcast is a single man, right? This married man called in to have some discourse. What are we thinking so far? Or should we just move into the end or because I have a lot to say, but let's just see the last part and then we'll give our full synopsis. Okay.
If there's something that needs to be built in the house, who builds it? You or your wife?
Depends on what it is.
What do you mean depends on what it is?
Like if it's a toy for the kids, you know what I'm saying? My wife's better at putting stickers on, so she builds it. But if we're talking about
that's not building nothing, man.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Stickers on something, you've lost it.
It's still a task. But my wife's an interior designer, so she can build anything.
I ain't got time for no foolishness. He gone.
See, this is the reason why I did not like the method of Kevin Samuel. Not saying I didn't like Kevin Samuel, not saying I hated him or whatever, but I knew how Kevin Samuels was doing things. It was going to spawn other minions to try to do what Kevin Samuel was doing, but they can't do it quite as good. Because at least Kevin had statistics, he had knowledge behind it, he had pinpoint things he was trying to get across. You just on here trying to talk. You can't even understand what the man right in front of you is saying to you. He's literally telling you, hey, we made 20 plus years. And you're trying to get him to have a mentality of a person that's trying to get into marriage. They've been married almost 30 years. And one thing he showed you, how calm he gets. Because I would have cussed you out. Hey, y'all, what? I would talk bad to you. But he was patient with you. He's still trying to articulate himself. He was still trying to pinpoint. He showed patience and a level of understanding that needs when you're in a marriage. You need to have that. You want to have some roles. He like that they don't exist.
Oh, that is the full clip. And this is a multi-layered clip. You know, obviously in the conversation that the guys had on the podcast, and then the commentating from Jeremy after. So what do y'all think? I mean, I was intrigued by what the podcaster and his guest, but I was also intrigued by what Jeremy said afterward. It made me think about what transpired a little differently. So what do y'all think? We can start with Lucky Ladies first, or whoever wants to go first.
I was gonna go after Trio. That was hilarious. Is that actually real?
That's real. That guy is a real guy. He has a podcast that's pretty popular.
I'm saying because he said it depends on what it is when he asked when his wife was built. Yeah,
I think his wife was his interior designer. So just sidebar, as an interior designer, you do build a lot of things. I mean, I've built almost all the things in my house.
Like
a table. I mean, like it doesn't take, especially if you get them from IKEA, they're not that hard. You just got to read the instructions.
I mean, just the overall topic, his response, that was fucking hilarious. But I think that it is pretty telling that he said you're giving advice as if he's trying to get into a marriage when he's been in one. I think that's most of people in this space, this conversation. How when you hear men, they're still quoting statistics that Kevin Samuels gave 3 years ago. Have we checked to see if those statistics are still valid? Have you checked the update? A lot of things they're still quoting it. So I think you have a lot of men who aren't marriageable repeating the things that he said because it was. I'm not saying it's a lie. It's a fact. But you're repeating it to people who are probably already married or they have a different type of marriage. We're looking at it as though marriage is 1, 2, 3. If you talk about modern times, there's different types of marriages. In that example, whether it was true or not, if his wife put together something or if his wife made more money or they had a flow in their relationship, you have people online judging them saying, oh no, you're out of order. Your husband's a simp. because of this one and the other, because you're too dominant. The way you're acting on this panel, I could tell your husband is this and that and the other, because a wife would never. But yet, and still, if you're in a situation where you're in conversation with other men that overtalk you, or you're trying to get a word in, it's not about being feminine or masculine. It's about me over talking you and we're debating. You know what I'm saying? So I think people get so wrapped up in trying to fit this box that Kevin Samuel said you need to fit, when in actuality it's not realistic to the everyday person. As we can see, like, a lot of men have a hard time living up to those standards that he said. I think that's why his channel was specific to build your image first, because you have a lot of men who just get on camera eating chicken, talking about what women are and what you need to be doing. You have people who have platforms who don't run it with a certain type of etiquette. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we're supposed to take you serious. I didn't even know it was that many high value men on YouTube. Like, if you check Kevin Samuel's, points, it's like, okay, you're known by the community. But it's like, once you get a podcast and you get enough subscribers, that's your community, you high value. And it don't matter if you bought the subscribers or not. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. So that's my thoughts.
Mr. AC.
I mean, I thought it was dope, man. I thought the caller was definitely trying to poke holes in a bunch of theoretical YouTube talking points that we hear all the time. Just in terms of marriage, like, you literally have men, just like Lucky said, come on these platforms, man, and speak about marriages and things of that nature as if it's one way. And it's just ironclad. We stuck in that way, and if you're not doing it this way, then you're doing it the wrong way, and y'all are out of order and things of that nature. But fact is, there's so many different types of marriages out there. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, your marriage is going to be tailor fitted to you. Every man is not super alpha. I want to pay for everything. I want to, build the house from the ground and build my car. Every man is just not like that. Some men just got money enough to just buy it, pay somebody to do it, things of that nature. So it just depends on where you are in life, and even, in certain roles. Just like he said, like, my wife builds toys better than I do. He may build, the back shed or storage. Or it just depends. Like, what is your strengths? What is my strengths? You take up what your strengths is. I take up what my strengths is, and we just go that way, more so than me trying to force myself to do certain things because I'm a man. And I may be terrible at it, but I'm going to force myself to do it because I'm a man. But nah, you have a partner there, and that's what I think people forget about marriage, is that you're in a partnership. Like, you literally hear people saying it, like, nah, marriage is not a partnership. It's you know what I'm saying? Like, the man is the overarching thing, and the woman's purpose is the man. She does what he says, and like. And like I said, I just be shaking my head and just laughing. But I think that call was an example of, the plethora of different marriages that are out there. Marriage does not have to run the same way, and this is coming from a married man. So that was my take on it. But it's just interesting how, like, deep rooted and, like, hard pressed that these people are in their stance, especially being that they're not in marriages themselves. That's I can't wrap my head around that. But
yeah, that when I first saw the video, I was like, everybody wants to be somebody. You know what I mean? Like, everybody wants to be somebody. But then I was just thinking, this man says he's been married over 20 years. He has 5 children. How can roles exist when you have 5 kids? When you have, like, a real family unit and a real marriage? How can roles exist like concrete roles? You know what I'm saying? Y'all have 5 kids. If the kids, somebody needs to cook. It don't matter who is available to feed one of these kids. It has nothing to do with roles. It just has to do with, like, compromise and you guys working together, like he said, as a team. And I think that, like, honestly, as a woman, that's, like, more attractive to me. When he kept saying, like, we're a team. Like, if I need to do something, she need to do something. And it just makes you feel like you are an essential part of this organization. You know what I'm saying? This is not just, this is my house, and, like, you're here to submit and just do the things that I need you to do. Like, no, it's like, we are a team, and this is the 4x4. Everybody has to do their leg, or like we don't win. Like there's no way for us to win if everybody doesn't do their part. And I think that will attract some modern women toward marriage, to be honest, if men were talking like that.
Yeah, man. I think, the interesting part about a lot of people who have those hard pressed, old school, traditional red pill viewpoints, or black pill in some cases, is that those guys also make videos complaining about divorces, complaining about alimony, complaining about child support, things of that nature. You want to know what the fastest way to get to that is? Alimony and child support is making your partner not feel valued in a relationship, or belittling their importance in a relationship, especially a woman. And this is, again, what I've learned actually being in it and living it, right? Like you have to go out of your way to make your partner feel valued, because it's real easy to kind of take them for granted, especially after you get past the marriage stage. Style, you getting up, you going to work, I'm going to work, whatever, and everybody's only thinking about what they doing and what they going through and things of that nature, right? So it's real easy to kind of disregard or kind of belittle or not value your partner as much as you should. But I think those ones that last those 20 years, like he talking, 40 years, 50 years, like those people made a valiant effort to, let their partner know, hey, you are appreciated here. You are not just a cog in this machine. You are a vital part in this machine. As a man, I may have veto power, sure, but your counsel is super important as to where we're going to go, because you see things from a lens that I don't. You are a woman. Women naturally pay more attention to detail than men do. Men are big picture based. Women are very, meticulous in terms of watching everything that's going on around, paying super attention to detail. So that's a viewpoint that you're going to need as a man, right? But if you constantly relaying to your woman, hey, you are nothing. You are what I say you are. Your purpose is what I say it is. I don't care what you want to do. I don't care what your passions are. I don't care what you're talented in. This is what you're going to do. Then eventually resentment is going to build in that scenario. Eventually, especially these women today, these women are coming to the relationship with degrees and $50,000, $75,000 jobs. So it's like, it's only so much of that shit she gonna take before it's like, okay, I'm out and I'm taking my kids and I'm putting your ass on alimony. But then when that happens, then they complain, right? But again, you gonna figure it out, or you gonna be another victim on these cameras preaching to men who are struggling with women themselves. Take your choice.
What up, Bruiser? How you doing this evening?
Hey, what's going on, panel? How y'all doing? What's up, Trill? Lucky.
Doing well, doing well. Did you get a chance to see the video?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. I saw it.
So what are your thoughts? Do you feel like half our community out here is just talking to talk, and you're married, so you can speak to the roles part of the conversation as well? I mean, I guess we all can, but whatever.
Well, you could say that in some cases. There's some people out there that is talking to talk and don't really have the resume to back up their points. You got to be able to filter all of those people out, man. A lot of people tell on themselves when they talk. You can see it clear as day, just like the guy in the video. I would also say, I'm not trying to defend him, but the guy that was married for 20 years, I think it's safe to say that the template or the optimization people using to have a lasting relationship doesn't apply to him, because he got in whenever it was different. I think we can all agree that 20 years ago, things have changed drastically, as far as relationships. So 20 years.
What's changed drastically since 2002? 2003. Yeah, I want to know.
Man, I think social media, the elevation and the progression of technology and social media, it's just the movements, what I'm saying, with LGBT and all this other stuff, sexual liberation, people being more open and confident about themselves, whether you're a woman or a man. When it comes to shame, you have to embrace all walks of life and all ideologies and all principles today. 20 years ago, it was probably acceptable to frown upon certain behaviors. And whenever it comes to, I think that when it comes to dating and relationships, 20 years ago was just totally different. I get what he's saying about roles, but that's more for like people who are trying to get into relationships today, and it may be better optimized. But I don't see why he was trying to push that on a guy who's already proven to have a successful relationship for 20 years. That's what I'm saying. Those things don't apply to him. Like these people that's been married 30, 40, 50 years, they came in and they got out of the game when the game wasn't as complicated as it is today. I think things are getting more complicated today as we move forward. And that's what I saw. I don't know if y'all can understand where I'm coming from, but I really personally believe that things are different as far as in the game. When you go out here and trying to date and get to know people, it's really different, man. You had a lot. Social media just came in and just hit it with a wrecking ball.
Nah, but Bruiser, I would hear you if the guy that was married 20 years came in talking traditional. I think the more surprising aspect of that is he's been married 20 years. And his marriage resembles what should be today, or you would think would be today. But the host of the pod that was going back and forth trying to pin him into a corner, he trying to like iron out traditional roles. Like, what is the role? What is the role? So it would be more understandable in terms of your point if the dude that was married 20 years came on there trying to do that. Then I would 1,000% agree. Yeah, you talking from a scenario that we just ain't in right now. So it would behoove you to kind of update that software and, take into account the type of women that we're dealing with. But I think it speaks volumes to do a relationship that he was doing. He was more, what's the word, liberal back then and compared to now. And they still made it 20 years, 5 kids in, healthy. So I think that speaks volumes. Maybe that traditional way it's not all the way what it's cracked up to be.
Well, it sounds to me that you, for the traditional setup, you really got to be like, as a man, you got to be on your shit. Like you got to have your stuff together to have a type of relationship like that. And when we say traditional, I'm thinking me and you both understand that maybe perhaps one man is working and a woman is either stay at home, taking care of the kids. It can work today. You know what I'm saying? And it also could not work back then, depending on your socioeconomic statuses. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it depends on how much resources you're able to bring in the house to be able to do that. So me personally, whenever I talk to people that is in a relationship and that's been in a long relationship, I tend to not try to project on them. I mean, if you already got something that's working, maybe I can learn something from you. So in this case, this guy that was on his show, I'm just finding it kind of weird that, hey, this guy's been married for 20 years. This guy could probably teach you a thing or two, instead of you trying to project some principle or ideology that is probably more modern. Or actually, I take that back. That's actually traditional, what he was trying to project, the roles. But we can also advocate and say that the roles could be modern as well. I mean, it all depends on what the woman and the man is willing to accept, as far as I understanding. But we all know when people get hit young, they're not really thinking about these things. These things are coming about as you grow into it. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what Queen Sheba got to say.
What up, Queen? Welcome.
Hey, everybody. Happy holidays.
Yes.
Happy holidays.
Bruiser
what
just
do you think?
Go ahead.
I said Bruiser just completely video, right?
Go ahead, Kayla.
You saw the video, right?
Yeah, I saw the video. Very interesting. I have like different viewpoints of it. I feel like the facilitator was like inexperienced dude that didn't know his lane, just like copying somebody else, right? So you're throwing out viewpoints and like copying this like roadmap that's not yours. Kevin Samuels was able to do what he did because that was for him. Like we all have something that's for us. And he got caught up in trying to think and talk like somebody. So when the man was actually trying to explain to him the marriage and what his marriage looked like, he didn't know what to say because he lacked understanding, right? Because he was so stuck on that talking point that he was trying to repeat. So that's the first thing I thought, like stay in your lane. The other thing is, I think so. When you think about roles with marriages, I think he made a good point. There are some things that you're more inclined to do as a man and you're more inclined to do as a woman, right? Like I'm probably more inclined to cook because I can cook. But you also see men that are chefs now popping up all over Instagram, men that can cook. So they're probably more inclined to cook in their relationships. I'm more inclined to take care of like the things in the house, like homely items, making the house feel good, making the house feel warm. He's more inclined to take care of the outside of the house, right? I'm not going to clean a gutter. I'm not going to go pick up dog poo from the yard. I'm not going to go talk to the guy that needs to spray paint or power wash the house. So there's things that you're more inclined to do because when we think about male versus female, but there's also things that you are good at, right? As a man and a woman, that's completely outside of traditional marriage.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you see that. I think that will only be smart. I think people who do the opposite are just trying to stick to their talking point so hard. And I hate seeing that. Like, I'll literally like Trill's an accountant. I literally said that on the panel one time. So if your wife's an accountant, you're going to tell me that you're going to do the money because you the man when you work in interior design. You know what I'm saying? Like, what sense would that make? That would make no sense to me. That would make no sense to me for me to be like, I would question like your judgment and leadership as a man in general for you to feel like there is a task that you should do just because you're a man if it's not specifically inclined to like your physical makeup, you know?
And one last thing.
That's ego?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lucky.
Now, I was just going to ask her or everyone, do you think that that's an ego thing? Like if you can't relinquish control in a certain area because you feel like your role is telling you that's your job, is that ego or that's you trying to follow a tradition?
Probably fear. I would say a fear-based response, like from a psychological perspective.
Rizzer?
I would say I say people are trying to be too meticulous with their roles. Like the guy that was on that show hosting that in that video, he was trying to force the guy to be meticulous on the roles. And the guy kept responding saying, we don't have any roles. Whatever needs done, we just do it. If I can't do it, she can do it. And if she can't do it, I can do it. I think it's just a matter of being too precise and just leave the roles at a level of, okay, I'm going to protect the house if some shit happens. You know what I'm saying? If somebody run up in here, I'm going to go on the defense. I'm going to go on offense. And you're going to go and play defense. You get what I'm saying? When it's come to nurturing and stuff, you just leave it at that. I think people trying to be too meticulous and too straight to the point with roles when it is a teamwork. That's one thing the guy responded with that I like. It's a teamwork. The guys are saying, "Oh, it's up for me to be the breadwinner and all that." But what if you get fired? What if you lose your job? What if before she met you, she had a career or a dream and she actually accomplished that? Are you going to just tell her, "Oh, your role is to be a stay-at-home mom. You can't be a doctor or nurse or physician"? That's totally unfair. But that's why you gotta vet people and try to get an understanding of where their mind's at. Because, and then you know what? I think these talking points that's circling around, I think it's a substitute for leadership not being in the household. I think because of the disproportion of mother and fathers not being in the household is allowing these kids and young people to go and find solutions, that happen to be talking points and happen to be toxic talking points. So this is what we got to deal with.
Do you think that, what do you honestly think that inclines certain people that don't necessarily have certain knowledge and experience to position themselves to give advice?
Say that again.
what makes you like why do you think certain people feel inclined to do things that they don't have experience, like trying to help other people with things that they don't even have experience with themselves? Because like the whole conversation between the two of them is still mind-boggling to me when he said to him, you've been married 25 years and you can't tell me what roles are. As an unmarried man saying that to a married man, I'm like, did he not listen to that come out of his own mouth? Like, I'm not married. I have no idea what this looks like, but I'm going to be like sarcastic or satirical and trying to like get it out of him when he has the answers and he's telling me the answers. You know what I'm saying? And then he was so rude and hung up on him in his face. Like, I don't have time for this. Like,
I think I get what you're
That's
saying.
why you're single.
You're saying pretty much what gives the person the encouragement to actually try to be in a position of something they're not experienced.
Yeah.
We're talking from. I mean, well, I think we can put in a role of somebody who is a psychologist or somebody who is in a place to where we go to seek counsel. We don't know what experience they have in their personal life to be giving us information, but they went to school and this particular subject told them this is how you deal with people that think like this. I believe some people also get that ability to be able to counsel like your friends. You may not have been in the type of relationship they have been in, but you know what's common sense and how to talk to them enough to guide them to answer their own questions or however your method is of doing it. Yeah. I think it just depends on your experience and where your wisdom comes from. If you are talking to people and they're calling in and they're asking you questions based on your wisdom, and it could be you could have been a failure your whole life, but the simple fact that you've learned from each failure could put you in a position to be able to give advice that may be more substantial than a person who went to school and never experienced it. Because life is more of an understanding than what you actually can learn book-wise. So I think it's not necessarily your experience as being successful in marriage. Maybe he's failed a lot, and that's why he can give advice on what to do or what not to do.
I agree with that, but I want to add it's two important things that causes a person to be able to step in the forefront and give out advice when he has no background or experience, especially in this space or in YouTube, social media. There's opportunity and there's audience. So if you put those two things together, if you can read to show yourself approved to talk on them, you don't have to necessarily live it. That's what technology does. So you don't have to have any background in anything today. All you got to do is have an audience who wants it. And if you can look the part, if you can talk the part, then you got an opportunity. And that's all people care about. Nobody cares about anybody else's life on the other side of the camera. Nobody cares about the effects of it. Since when have we? We got entertainers. We get it from entertainment. Rappers, artists, singers, icons, celebrities. They don't give a damn. They're looking for opportunity. So that transfers to regular folk. Whenever they got a chance to do it, they're going to do it.
Well, Bruiser, just mentioning the video, if that person's been married for 20 plus years, why is he calling in on any show about advice to anybody on social media if he has all the answers?
It's the same thing in the opposite. It's
I'm just saying,
if
we're going to say we're listening to these people, how many men do we see for hours on streams or overnight or just doing every stream you see they're there, but they're happily married? We can say, okay, in your actions, I can see you're online more than you doing something offline or actually more productive. So how can we sit up here and take your advice if most of your life I see online shows it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, just because you're married don't mean you have a marriage that people should idolize as well.
I think so. I agree with what Bruiser said, opportunity and space. And I think, some people give it a shot. They give it a go. And that's not the issue, right? Stepping into like this field of opportunity to kind of talk about some stuff that you're passionate about. I think the challenge comes when you don't know when to back down, when you've run into an expert, somebody with a little bit more knowledge, and you keep pressing and pressing the issue, as opposed to say, you know what, let me let them have the floor. Because shit, I'm gonna use this for my next talking point. I'm about to learn something different in this moment, and I'm gonna compile that with what I already know. And then my next segment, I'm gonna bring this into the conversation. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong on YouTube. People get so stuck in what they know. And there's a saying that it says, like, as long as you're talking, you're only sharing what you know. But when you listen, you are learning what everybody else know at a table. And I remember, like, there's this story about a doctor, this like world-renowned doctor, and he went to like this dinner with all of these doctors, and his wife was seated next to him, and all of the doctors were sharing their knowledge. And they said his wife kept nudging him. It's like, talk. And he wouldn't talk. And she kept nudging him. So at the end of the night, as they rode back home in the car, she said, how come you didn't talk? He was like, because I know what I know, but I don't know what they know. So a lot of times these people with these platforms won't pause long enough to be curious about what you know, what the caller knows, right? What other panelists know. So that's my 2 cents on that.
And I definitely think that Jeremy called that out after too. He was like, the guy showed a level of patience that is required to be married, and the young man who was unmarried didn't. He wasn't even inquisitive. He didn't even ask him into further question into like, well, what do you mean? Well, what does that look like in your household? And so he went to the whole traditional, well, you had to build something. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Trey.
Well, you can tell.
Yeah, situation where, like, you know, a lot of like what it is just becoming consumed with your followers. I think people get some kind of following and feel obligated to just speak on anything. Like they feel superhuman because I gotta make sure that I stand on the point that these followers have supported me for. Like we see it in spaces all the time to where like dudes will go against logic to make sure that I get this talking point off that I'm supposed to get according to this group that I so say represent. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a following, it kind of, you know, it's like, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit. You start to believe in your own hype. You start to believe in, just because I have this many people following me, I can get my opinion on anything and it's valid. I don't have to be married or whatever because I done gave my opinion a million times. They backing what I'm saying. I got a couple thousand followers or whatever, and they rocking. Whatever I say, they going with. So when that's the case, then you feel, you know, empowered to just jump out the window. Just like you said, you didn't ask that man, or because it's not about inquiring. It's not about furthering my knowledge. It's about showcasing what it is that I think I know, or what it is that I've studied, or what it is that I've researched, and laying these points out in an articulate way so my followers can cheer and go, yeah, that's what my, you know, there you go. That's person representing me. So it becomes about more than that than having productive dialogue. And I think we've seen that, you know, up close and personal right there.
And to answer your question, Lucky, which was a good question, why did a guy that 25 years married felt you know, determined to come on a panel anyways and talk? If you listen long enough on a lot of these spaces, there's also opportunity in space for people that challenge people. Like when they smell blood, they'll come up. You know, they'll come up and they'll challenge you and see if you really know your shit. And people get a kick out of that too. There's an audience for that too, because a lot of people be spewing out nonsense and they're really not prepared to defend their points. So that is why you got some guys like that 20, 25 years, ain't got no reason to be on to prove nothing to nobody at all. But there's also opportunity in that. So I can make this guy look like a jackass. He got what? I don't know how many subscribers, but just to guess, he got 100K. I can just make him look like a fool on his own platform. But before it got there, that he kicked that guy off. Because I guarantee you his seat got a little sweaty.
I will say this.
I was thinking the same thing, Bruiser. Like he seen the talking point and he wanted to come up and make him look dumb. That's why he kept saying, like, I don't even understand the question. Like, what are you even saying?
I'll say real quick, like a lot of times when we talk about like a man protecting his wife, we think like a physical sense, right? Like, did you see how he protected his wife? in that conversation. He was not giving that dude any leeway. And when that guy said, it's just stickers, he said, it's still a task. He protected his wife from start to finish. So I just wanted to call that out.
He did. Yeah, I mean, I just liked the way that he handled it. That level of patience is I like it. It's important. I think, like, with men in general, I think the patience is one of the most important things that needs to be worked on. Absolutely. And being able to, like, be patient and have dialogue. When we've seen that on Spaces where, like, all of a sudden people they're just like have an outburst because they just get so frustrated that they just like, what the, you know what I mean? But it's just like, let's talk it through.
Oh, you must be talking about logic.
Control your emotions.
Hold on, I think I'm guilty. I think I'm guilty too.
Control your emotions and let's talk it through. You know, like being like that. That is super important. But you see that level of patience usually comes from men on the panel that are married. You know, because they
it's
have
it's about confidence too, man. A mixture of confidence and patience. Because if you got the confidence and you know your shit, and you ain't gotta like a lot of these guys read stuff and all that, you can sit there and wait and let everybody. Sometimes, you know, I sit there and I just wait till everybody respond like, okay, I know they on some bullshit. And if they hit something that I can relate to and understand, then I won't even comment. But if they don't put it out there, then I'm like, y'all, somebody's missing something. Is nobody seeing this? So I think it's a matter of confidence too with that patience.
Yeah, I think it's understanding too. Like being on social media as long as I have, you done accepted the fact you're not gonna change nobody's mind. Which is why you don't really see me get too riled up. Like I'll make my point, and if you continue to try to contradict it or whatever, I'm like, all right, you got it. You gonna learn on your own time. I'm not gonna sit here and beat you in the head. I'm not gonna insult you. I'm not gonna bring up your personal life. None of that. This is not my thing. It's like, okay, you're gonna get it on your own time, and when you do, I want you to remember what it is that I told you, and come back and say, Trill, you was right. But in terms of changing somebody's mind, waste of time on here. But that's why you see these outbursts and frustration and shit like that, is because people like really think this thing is real. Like people think people are coming to these panels to really learn and exchange information. People are coming to these panels, like I said, with followings of their own to stake my claim in this situation. I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna say the fly shit I could think of. I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna disagree for no reason so I can get me a clippable moment on YouTube. I'm going to prod at this person because I see this person is a little bit emotionally unstable, so I can create a moment here. Like all of this shit is a game. But like if you really paying attention and seeing it from the lens that you should be, then you'll grasp that and you'll start to move accordingly. But again, that's why you can't find a panel of me getting out of pocket, because I understand what this shit is. So understand.
Man, I didn't curse people out, but I learned. But I walked in thinking, oh, everybody's here to learn and listen.
Ooh, child, don't get me started.
No.
I walked in the same way. I walked in the same way. I'm like, y'all not about to have me, a black woman, arguing back and forth, trying to provoke. Because then sometime in conversation, you'll catch the little jabs in conversation, and then from then on, like you're on 10, and it's like every panel you get in, you thinking everything is a jab, so you just on 10 because that was your experience when you didn't have a guard up, and you like, why is there a guard in a basic conversation? Or you realize you're saying something, and then somebody could be going through something. Maybe this man don't have a voice at home, so you represent his wife who won't shut up. And if you got the same opinion as his wife, who he can't voice his opinion to at home, you about to get it for no reason. You know what I'm saying? It's always those points. So yeah.
Facts. And sometimes a lot of people have problems and they want me to solve them, and I just can't. I just like bringing your problems to the internet, like, and trying to make them a world like problem, a community problem. Like, no, they're your problem. You're having a problem with whatever you're dealing with. And then you want to come to the panel, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. I think I'm going off the deep end. But
some people will call that patronizing, Kayla. Some people would. Or gaslighting too.
Yeah. Oh, really? I know not. Yo no say. I don't know even know what that means.
I try not to talk to. I mean, if I can get a one-on-one conversation with somebody, then I'll talk to them about personal problems. But I mostly try to refrain from personal problems in the panel with people. Try to talk about things that happen, on a general majority base or whatever that everybody can relate to, not just on the panel, but in the comments to keep people involved in the conversation.
Yeah.
But I do know I have been on some cases, on some panels and stuff where it do get personal. And I think it's just a matter of people enrolling their personal information into the discussion. And then whenever somebody has pushback on it or opinion about it, and that's when it gets out of hand. So I learned to leave stuff about myself up out of it.
I learned that too after a little bit because, everybody like, oh, Kayla has so many friends. Kayla knows so many people. And I feel like people was getting mad or jealous. I don't know. But every time I talk about my friend or somebody I know or a situation I witnessed, then I was doing too much, right? So I get what you mean. Like sometimes it's better to leave that out. So just want to shout out, will be Taylor in the chat, Daryl Long in the chat. We got what up, Mimi, DeSosa, Eugene in the building as always. What's up? How y'all doing this evening?
69 mega.
Robin
better get
is
those moderators on.
In the chat for sure. Shout out to my cousin. That's the fan. Patience from a man is the most powerful thing. So sexy. I love it. I really do. Like it's very, very attractive. We got Ray Alexander in the building. Thank you so much. At $10. There is no one size fit all relationship model. The husband and wife have their roles, but the couple will adapt to the strength and challenge points of each spouse. They complement each other. For sure. That's how I feel. I feel like that's just the best way it should be. It really should be. Like in a situation I was recently dealing with, this person cooks. They love cooking. Who am I to say you can't do that? Like, this is my role. Like, I just feel like overall, you can take a little piece of advice from each different situation, even if that person doesn't fully align with like your ideologies. So even if this guy on the podcast was a traditional guy, clearly this guy that called in has a more modern relationship. Just because, y'all have that difference doesn't mean there isn't something to be learned. Like the guy on the panel, I was confused on what he was confused about when he said women are tired. What's confusing about that? What panel? He said not panel, but the caller, he asked like, why aren't women cooking and cleaning like they used to, or whatever the case may be. And then the married guy said, because they're tired. Because they work all day, 8-9 hours a day, commute, come home, they're tired.
And then he said women. He didn't say wives. So I felt like why are you comparing the women that you date that want you to take them out and you trying to get them to cook for you? That's what I took. Like, why aren't they cooking? Because you need to be taking her out and dating her.
Right.
She's not supposed to pull you into her place and just start cooking for you. Where a lot of guys, I mean, we can go on and on. They want to skip steps with these women and they want her to start acting like a wife immediately. Like he's supposed to possess her mind, her body, her spirit, give her a 2-piece and a pepper and expect her to just, what is it? Lay it low and spread it wide. No, that's not how it works. Take that lady out, treat her like a queen, date her, court her. So when he was saying, why aren't women cooking? I immediately thought he's talking about the women he's dating, but he's having this conversation with the married man. And his answer is going to be completely different than what you expect because y'all are on 2 different levels talking about 2 different kinds of women.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Because most of the time when I speak I try to be clear that I'm speaking from my experience or what's happened around me because I never like to speak from a married woman. So I always say, well, I think. Like, I don't never like to say I know. If somebody is listening, they're like, oh, yeah, that's right. I wouldn't either. It's like, let me be clear. I think all marriages are different. So I'm just saying this is what I think based on my environment. I think those are important things to say too when you're up here so that people listening, you don't know who's listening first and foremost. Like my nephew watched these and he shouldn't be, but he watched these conversations and he starts to have opinions That sounds like some people that you hear, and it's just like, I know you're not getting that opinion just because you've seen it, you heard it, you agreed with it. Now that's your opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Queen Sheba, I don't even know what to say more than you're just absolutely spot on. I've literally had a conversation about this. Why are we having conversations about this during the dating phase? Why are we having these conversations about cooking and cleaning? You live where you live. I live where I live. We are not even in an exclusive relationship. This shouldn't come up. If I happen to invite you over to dinner, you should see that as a gesture, a nice gesture that I'm doing. That's it. And you see the cleanliness based on how you see my house when you come here. And that's it.
No conversation, or like you mean don't ask.
I meant conversation about me doing it for you and the frequency that I'm doing it when we're just dating.
Like some guys may ask, so how often you cook for your man? You cook
and
for your man, you clean. It's like, dude.
Or even when dating and in a relationship, like wanting you to be on some type of schedule and like cooking and cleaning for them and like judging how much or how you're doing that when you're just like dating or a new relationship, you're trying to see where this is going to go. I just feel like that doesn't make any sense to me, because also I believe that certain things that you do have a lot to do with your commitment to the person, because there's lots of things I can do, but that lack of like commitment with you, you will never see them. You will never see them. Like,
so you don't think it's
for what?
You don't think it makes sense for a person to know, okay, so they know what they like out of the person that they want to marry? You don't think it's important for that person to kind of analyze and evaluate the potential partner to see if they actually can fulfill those things by maybe asking questions or, investigating to see if maybe, I think she aligned with me. We're gonna have some chemistry here.
I think we fall in love with words. I can tell you anything. I can tell you everything I'm gonna do to you and do for you and don't do shit. But so I think it's important to analyze and watch. But I mean, if she's gonna cook for you, you'll know that within the first 30 days. You don't have to ask. She's gonna say, hey, listen, come over on Tuesday. I'm gonna put this rotisserie chicken in the oven. Bring a bottle of wine, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to ask her. It's kind of like dry begging.
Yeah, I agree with that. If that's something that she does, you'll kind of see that.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then you'll see that too. But at the same time, I don't think that you should feel like it's an obligation of hers to be doing any of those things for you.
I mean, how would you feel if a woman says, so you tend to pay a little bills? You pay a little bills and stuff. You give a little change for nails. How would you get what I'm saying? It's tacky.
Yes. It is.
Exactly, Bruce.
It depends on how the conversation is.
That I'm dating to get my nails done. That's very tacky.
Imagine her asking you that on the first and second date. So on Fridays,
those things are very like on a level. Those are things like not
even on the first, second date though, Bruiser. Even like 3 months into dating, I still would not ask the man that I'm seeing to get my nails done.
I think we got to look at it differently here. Cooking and cleaning is a very important thing in a relationship, especially if you want to share households and create a family. Getting hair done and nails done is something very minimum.
No, it's not, because you want your woman to be attractive. You want her to keep herself up. That's one of the things that y'all talk about.
This is where the panel, the show is going to start. I see.
No, it's not a show. It's an intellectual conversation. It's an exchange of different just different thoughts. One is not more important than the other. You require something. She requires something. You can't say that's not as important.
Listen, I'm not trying to. We can agree.
Not nails and hair. Are you gonna pay my FPL? I need new.
Did you say BBL?
I need new homeowners insurance on my condo. You want to take care of that? Like, how would you feel if a girl asks you that and it's the third month that y'all are dating and she expects you, like you would expect, like a person may have expects a woman to be cooking for them 3 times a week and to come to their house and clean for them, or to do things clean or have things a certain way in her own house for him month 3, is that, you know what I'm saying? Like, would that be okay for be like, you're going to now be paying my car insurance? That's now your responsibility. Like, that's the thing I'm putting on you now.
3 months. I think once you get to 3 months,
50.
I think once you get to 3 months, you can. I think it's safe to ask for things from the other partner.
I don't think there's anything wrong with asking. If my man says, "Hey, babe, I really want a home cooked meal. Can you make something this Friday?" Of course. I didn't say ask.
We've been dating for 3 months, and you've been giving it up, and we've been getting to know each other. There's nothing wrong with asking.
I wouldn't even say 3 months. I think when you start having sex, it should be okay. Or when you start asking for sex, when you start expecting it, it should be okay for her to start having expectations as well.
Yes, when it's expected.
I'm saying I'm not saying I'm not saying she should expect me to pay her bills. I'm saying once we've been in a relationship and we're in a serious, like we're getting somewhere, after 3 months, I think it's okay to ask, hey, look,
so
I need some help on this bill.
So how soon from the first date do you expect head?
I think, well, if you just ask me personally, it's not going to be aligned with everybody else.
I mean, we can speak. I mean, just what you think, or generally, like, would you say how soon after the first date does a man expect oral sex from said woman?
I don't expect oral sex that early or at any given time. But if she's to do it, then I will accept it. It's not something that, okay, I'll expect her to just be nasty on the first date.
Well, the reason why I'm saying it is because we often talk as if money is not something you can get again, as if it comes and goes, as if sex is not more important, but it's something that women in conversation have to understand within that 3 months. She should have been putting out, or someone else is. That's how the conversations go. So
okay, so I get what you're saying.
It's always like you have to. Meanwhile, she has needs that require you to spend money as a provider, or show something that shows, okay, this is a man that look out for me, whatever, if he wants to be a husband. The problem comes in, men start trying to create these reasons or how long we need to be talking to you before she can ask or even require or expect a man to start shelling out money towards her bills. But yet and still, she has to be opening her legs a lot sooner than he's able to open his wallet. You get what I'm saying?
Like I said,
why is it not okay for you to take over paying my car insurance? Like, why is that an issue?
Why are we aligning sex with taking over your personal responsibility?
Because sex is supposed to happen in
my vagina is personal to me as well, and you men want some of that. So I don't understand if you.
But marriage, right? So
look, I get what you're saying. We want the vagina, we want sex, but you guys also want us
provision
in that way as well. So it's a trade. I think that's a fair trade-off.
Not initially, we don't.
Climax majority of the time. Like, let's not.
Y'all don't sit here and cap and say y'all don't want to.
This is the part where men realize what women really think.
We want the fantasy of you. We want you to hold our hands. We want you to take us to a nice restaurant. We want you to look at us. We want you to say, give her a glass of champagne, give her what she wants. We want you to walk around the door, open the door. We want you to give us roses. That leads to us wanting you sex.
So
but we don't want you the same way you want us.
So y'all are trying to convince me that the equivalence of me getting head is me taking over car insurance.
No, I don't think that's what they're saying.
I'm saying sex is equivalent to provision. So just like a woman wants a provider, that means what are the things that she wants you to provide for? That depends on the woman. Not necessarily car insurance. It could be every now and then she wants you to pay something. She expects you to pay her cell phone bill maybe initially. Now, I'm not saying initially, but we're talking about 3 months when she can start asking. But then it's the same thing for a man who wants sex. You're going to want sex. You're going to want to have access to that woman's body because you are doing these things. But the thing is that you're not doing these things before you expect access to her body. 9 times out of 10, she's giving up her body to have access to your wallet. Yeah. The access is not so open on both sides. We know what men know what to say to get that access, but then now it's her with these expectations that are put on you based on what you said. But I have to wait.
If any woman look at me and as far as me exchanging sex for access to my wallet, then I will have to group her with the prostitutes.
You're being too literal.
That's
we're not saying prostitution
because that's just not true. There's no woman that's a wife and that's going to be with a husband that's not providing. That's not a thing.
But if we're dating,
it's not.
But are you having sex while you're dating her? If not, then she shouldn't have access.
I don't get to decide. Hold on, wait.
I'm not having sex with you. I still expect you to do things for me.
I don't get to decide whether I have sex with her. She gets to decide that.
But once you become in relationship, you start to take over some of that decision. You start believing that you should have sex with her at a pace, rate, time frame that works for you once you're in relationship with her. Do you or do you not?
She's not my wife, so how do I have that? How do I have those expectations? She's not my wife.
So you saying when your wife was just your girlfriend, you're telling me you didn't have any expectations of sex. She could just give it to you whenever she felt like it.
Yeah. She's not my wife. She don't belong to me.
Well, I think that
he can say that. But he'll come home, come over her house, take his clothes off. Like, stop with the cat.
This what you don't understand. When I was getting that sex as a single person, as a boyfriend, it wasn't a matter of what I was expected. It was a matter of what did she want and what did I want. Once we knew what we wanted, we went and did it. It wasn't a I want to give this to you because you've been paying my car note. No,
that's not.
Now I'm saying in general, let's take it off of you. That's why I said in general, when men are speaking, men want sex. That's how the conversations go. Whether or not they getting it, women can always tell. But the thing is that you want the sex. The problem, if we're talking about modern dating, is that men want the sex off the back based on a date, based on them spending time. You should be lucky type of situation. However, if a woman has expectations that require access to his wallet or some money, that becomes a problem. She becomes a prostitute. You should dump her, all of this type of stuff. But yet and still you came through the door just because you're giving text messages, whatever, you feeling like something. You want the sex. You want to follow up to see if she really likes you. Now it's up to you to say it. But if she don't put out after a certain amount of months, weeks, or whatever your requirement, said man's requirement is, she's not going to get a phone call back after a while. He's going to feel like he's wasting his time. Most men are waiting until marriage.
Well, who's auditioning for marriage?
You both. I mean, auditioning. For 2 seconds, let me just go ahead and big shout out to Malevolent Elephant. Yo, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. You've always been super supportive. Haven't seen you since Atlanta. I hope you're doing amazing. Thank you so much.
You said checkmate, but I missed that.
I'm saying you are the one that have to show yourself worthy to be married. You don't get it twisted. You could show yourself worthy to have sex, but when you talk about resources,
what kind of marriage?
Entitlement to resources and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but your inability to be consistent in giving me some type of resource tells me that maybe you're not doing well at your audition for marriage, because I feel like if you're not able as a boyfriend to just be financially responsible for something for me every month, that's around $300 every month. I don't understand how you think that you're husband material in any way if you can't figure out a way to provide $300 a month for me.
Let me ask you this, Kayla. If you had a son,
I just don't get it. How can
you had a son? If you had a son,
$300.
If you had a son, would you tell your son to go out here and pay car notes and car insurance to show himself approved to be a husband?
For his girlfriend, a woman that he could see having a future and being his future wife, absolutely, I would expect him to pay for something for her on a consistent
I want to answer
basis.
that too.
I would, because I would expect him to be dating her. So you're already doing it. If you're taking me on 2 dates a week, you're spending more than $300 a month. But it's about you making that commitment and saying, this is a bill that comes every month, and I'm willing to show you that I care about you and taking care of it.
Okay,
That
so let's say everybody touch and agree.
Let me
level of care. All men want to take women on dates because they think it ends in sex. All men will do that if you look any kind of decent.
Let's say we all touch and agree. Let's say we all touch and agree. Hey, look, I get sex when I want. You get your car insurance paid for.
Oh my gosh.
Is that what women?
That was my original question. Once you're having sex, can she have the expectations of continuous? If Kayla's talking about a car note, I would say she needs to be putting out for $300 a month.
Insurance. Work out. First of all, my car note's way more than insurance.
But here's the problem with y'all. It don't stop there. It elevates as we get car insurance. Now it's next is household. Now it's shopping sprees. It just never ends. So if you sending your son out there like that, you can send him into a catastrophe.
No,
when he becomes a husband, it's not going to end. He's going to be doing that for his wife and then some damn kids. What do you mean? You're right. It never ends. It doesn't end. It actually ends more and more.
Go ahead, Queen Sheba.
So what I teach my stepson is a lot of times I feel like young boys, they eventually grow up to be men. They're naturally selfish. I've noticed from like little age because they have been conditioned. Women take care of them, right? Because they have to. That's your son. Mommy opens door. Mommy helps me, wipe my bottom. Mommy gives me a bath. Mommy does this. So if you're not course correcting and really making them consciously aware, for instance, I teach my stepson, pause. When you see a lady, when we go to the store or restaurant, pause, get the door for her. I've seen him walk straight ahead right in front of a woman. And I'm conditioning him and helping to groom him so that he could be a good husband. He's not at the age yet where I can talk about bills and paying bills, but he is at the age where when he got his Christmas money, the first thing he wanted to do was run in the store and buy everything for himself. I was the one that says, no, you're going to get your mom a gift. You're going to get your dad a gift. Okay. And then you're going to get somebody else a gift. And then whatever you have left, then you can buy yourself something. So those are lessons that you have to instill in boys at a young age so that they do become husbands. And then when they do reach an age where they are making money, you can say as a father or as a mother, hey, listen, I know you don't make a lot, but I still need you to give me $10 or $15 for groceries, just to begin to introduce him into responsibility, taking care of a household, taking care of his wife. So it doesn't have to be a full-blown bill, but it's still your responsibility to introduce him into like a shared community that he'll one day enter. Otherwise, you're setting him up for divorce because don't nobody want no selfish man.
So if this man ain't, so basically y'all evaluate and determine that a man is not worthy of marriage if he's not able to portray the generosity and a level of provisions and protection during the dating phase.
Why'd you
that's not what they said.
There? You put that word portray there.
Yeah.
You want to argue. See, that's what Trill said earlier.
No, I'm actually asking the question to try to get a clarification.
Why you say portray?
Yeah.
Portray.
I think I'm just after what y'all just said. I think I'm justified to ask this.
I just think that men should innately, you are a giver.
Yeah, but
you're a giver.
You do want you.
Look in your pants. The thing goes out. It gives. You're a giver. That is a part of manhood. As a woman, you're a receiver. You receive things, and so that is just a part of your nature. But I think how you go about that is important. Like, do you want your son to give to get something in return, or do you want him?
You need to tell that to Lucky because Lucky was having some confusion about giving head too early.
No, that's because you said that a woman is supposed to cook and clean early on. That's where all of this stemmed from. You said she's supposed to cook and clean and show her value and audition.
Yeah,
and that's when we use the
Hold on.
example.
You took everything I said and put it in one
but
sentence.
you
Hold
didn't
on.
say that though, Bruce.
Basically,
I didn't word it like that though.
and then the question to
Holy
you.
shit.
Well, it sounds crazy, right? When you hear it back, right?
Queen Fever, boy. No wonder why she be doing reaction videos.
Look.
I don't know. I don't like
So
how y'all
then-
attacking my dog, man. I need y'all to calm
Go
that
ahead.
down a little bit. My dog is feeling attacked. I
Help
gotta
him.
come
He
in and
needs some
separate them.
help.
Man, all I'm saying is, look, I don't knock no man for paying expenses during day. That's fine. But I'm saying that we want things too, and it's not just only sex. So if we got this, if y'all trying to push this narrative that all y'all got to do is just give us some head and let us hit it from time to time, and that's all we go with. No, we want more.
First of all, I don't like how you put that value down on
Kayla,
head. I don't like
Can I
that.
make my point clear?
I don't like that.
Let me make my
Hold on,
point
wait, what? How you know?
Bruiser,
You don't like
keep
'em?
remixing it and saying stuff I did not say. My whole point of bringing it up was the fact that once men start having the expectations of sex, meaning having access to her body, which we know most of our issues come from sex, in the dating phase, not in the constitution of marriage, in the dating phase, most issues you're not sure if it's going to work out. Then you bet all these things can happen. Hormones happen. If she get pregnant, now she ain't the same person you got pregnant. A lot of things happen. So if we're talking about when he started expecting sex, I said, how come in general, not you, in general in conversations, that woman cannot start expecting access to his wallet, because then men would say she's a prostitute, this and that and the other. She can call it provision, the same way having access to her body and her being able to cook would be to you. You're auditioning to be a wife. Okay, so how come you can't take that same mindset and said, I'm auditioning to be a husband, to show her that I am a provider, unless that's not what you are. But every time women start to bring his wallet into the conversation, men start doing what you did, adding words that aren't there, saying we're confused, or doing certain things when it's just like, just say, you know what, we want the woman to do backflips and all of this for $10 while we figure out, while we do 6 months to a year. They say men are supposed to know if that's the woman they want to marry. Knowing could have happened. When is he actually ready? Because we also learned, shout out to cruise season, they would throw and say certain things to keep her along on this string until she's ready. So the women are in these conversations trying to not put women on a string based on the contradictions men put forth in the simple dating stage that tells her if she expects his money, she's this and that and the other, and you should throw her away. If she comes to the relationship with her own money, she's too damn independent. What the hell is she supposed to do? She can't rely on your money. She can't have too much money. But yet and still, he wants sex. He wants her to know how to cook. He wants her to deep throw. He wants her to do all of this stuff that's supposed to be in a marriage. And he wants her to submit. And he wants her to do this. No pushback, all of this stuff. Just dating. What is he doing to show that he's a husband worth saying yes to his ring? Just because you ask her to marry her, she still got to say yes. What makes
in this case,
because they're using their leverage as the person that controls the access to marriage as a thing.
If you find yourself
like you need to do all these things to prove that you deserve for me to give you this level of access to marriage, while actually not doing anything themselves to display that they are ready for marriage. Because in reality, this marriage thing, you, sir, take on majority, like you take on a lot of responsibility. So for the fact that you don't think you got to show me nothing, but you want me to be your wife and put my life in your hands and put my money in your account, like, I don't
hold on. This
understand.
guy, if you find yourself in this situation and you're still in this situation and you don't have a ring, it's because he doesn't want to marry you.
Okay.
So you're saying those women that are with men over the year point and they still haven't got a ring, he don't really want to marry her?
That could be the case. It could be a case. It could be that you're not ready to be your wife. And he's patient enough to see you grow into that.
Wow.
So Bruiser, I have a question.
Women don't have sex, just do nothing. I agree.
So does that mean
but listen, you're giving this man sex in exchange for monogamy. And we can agree to that, right?
You see what you just did? You just added the word there. You made it a transaction in exchange.
Yeah, in exchange.
I'm walking you into the conversation though, because I don't want to just blur everything out. I'm just trying to have a dialogue with you.
And we already discussed earlier how women do not be climaxes, so it's not even a fair exchange. So
you want this man to be monogamous to you,
Nobody
and
ever
not go
said
out and
that.
date and screw other women.
No, nobody said that. You're introducing that into the
What I'm
conversation.
saying, she said something about, oh, he can have sex, but he can't pay a bill or whatever. I'm saying what I'm trying to do is just I'm trying to unpack everything you saying and answer it
correct.
I think we need
to find a pathway.
I think we need you to clear up.
Y'all just trying to load a lot on me right now and overwhelm me, and it's not working. It's not working.
A lot on yourself. I think you put too much on your plate.
Listen, every time I get ready to answer a question from one of y'all, the other two throw 2-3 more questions out.
I think you have to clear up one thing, Bruiser.
It's like that game. It's like that game where you got the hammer and the head pops up and you hit it, and then the other two, you just.
I think you hitting your own head.
Oh God, I can't even tell a joke without another.
Okay,
Bruiser. I think Bruiser. I think you getting. It's okay. Go ahead, Trill.
It's okay.
Y'all got
it. Trill. Let's not. Trill.
Trill got longevity. He got notoriety. They ain't gonna do that to Trill.
No, he knows us. He knows we're not serious. He knows us. He deals with us on a weekly basis, so he knows we're just having a good time.
Yeah, no, that's all good. What?
So y'all was picking on me.
No, you know what?
Hazing per se.
I'm glad I've been smiling this whole time because this shit was sounding funny.
Bruce, stop that. You know your fam. Don't do that. Come on.
Kay and Kayla started that shit.
Well, we have fun with you. Is this all? Go ahead, Trill. Sorry.
No. I was going to ask what the question was. Pardon me. I've been off. My internet was acting up.
We basically were talking about when you went. We were basically Bruiser was trying to create this moment of it being an exchange when Lucky had mentioned that. Or Bruiser was saying something along the lines of women should want to cook and clean. We're talking about that expectation during a relationship and how I had dealt with a situation where there was an expectation for me to be cleaning and cooking and doing things for someone for just like a relationship. And then so Lucky said, do you expect sex in said relationship? And I asked Bruce specifically, prior to the marriage, when you're just girlfriend and boyfriend, is there a level of expectation from her when it comes to sex? And Bruiser swears that that's not the truth. But we believe across the board that it is. Most boyfriends expect sex from their girlfriends, not just when she wants it, but when he wants it as well. He expects her to fulfill said need during just a committed monogamous relationship. And so we alluded to the fact of, why is it not okay for me to expect you to pay a bill around here? Something as small as car insurance, right? Because that's less than you would spend on taking me on dates every month.
Hey, look, he's taking the same route I did. You looking like you're about to repeat. Go ahead, Trail.
Do you think that there is an expectation? Do you think that men have, once they cuff you in this, imaginary commitment in a relationship, right? Do they have a level of expectation when it comes to sex with you?
Definitely.
That's what I thought.
As a matter of fact, you will not get cuffed until the sex happens in most cases. That is honest.
Wow. So like Lucky said, we can't even start the negotiation about your resource contribution around here until after I have given you access.
But you know why, right?
Oh my gosh.
Y'all don't even want to know why. You just know that you got to do it, right? That why doesn't matter. We have to be monogamous. If we're gonna practice being monogamous, so we can show ourselves worthy of marriage and being committed and faithful, you got to allow us to practice it.
Bruiser. Okay, I have a question for you.
Look at Trey. He's like, I'm gonna put that one in my book.
It goes back to what you first. Why do you feel like? Let us practice. But why did you say that a woman cooking and cleaning isn't special, and that should be a part of the process? That should be something that she does automatically. Why do you feel?
Hold it. Where did I say that?
You implied that. You implied that very strongly.
No, I said a woman. I said that the level of importance in a relationship as far as cooking and cleaning is a higher level than a man providing money so she can get her hair and nails done. And y'all said no, it's the same.
Right. And so that's why I said if we remove something as frivolous as my nails done to something that actually shows that you care about me, i.e. my safety, i.e. me having insurance, why is that an issue? Because if I break down, you do want me to be able to call AAA, right? This is your level of care for me to make sure that I am safe. I didn't say nails. I didn't say hair. I didn't even say like, you know.
And I thought I answered that. I thought I answered that when I said to Lucky when I don't know if it was you or her, but I said once you get to, I think the number was 3. I think it was 3 months, right? I said, I mean, it ain't even got to be that. Once you get to a certain pace or a certain point in your relationship, it's fine to ask for these things. I don't see nothing wrong with asking. But when you sit here and say I am entitled to get my insurance paid by you, that's a whole nother ball game.
Y'all were talking about first dates. That's what Kayla was talking about, and how men sometimes ask questions that are completely disrespectful on the first date. Yeah. And your questions was, should we not have a right to probe and ask questions? And we said, you shouldn't be like, oh, you gonna cook and clean and what you cooking and do you cook for your man? And then we use the example. How would you like it on the first date or the second date if a woman says, oh, you pay them bills? You know, what you do with your money? You're going to help me? And that's how that started. Y'all were talking about first or second dates, not relationships.
Honestly, like I said, my response on that particular question is probably going to be different across the board from other men. So if that's what's on your mind as a woman,
what would you say on that first
if
date?
that was on your mind as a woman, I would want you to say that because that's what you are looking for in a relationship. I want you to be transparent with me. Okay. So I would embrace that as transparency. Hey, she's letting me know what I'm getting to early on. I'm not gonna feel bad about it because a lot of people have these thoughts that could be challenging for men, but they kind of hold it back because they may not think he's capable or something like that. But I would look at that as a sign of her seeing that, damn, I look the part, so why not ask?
Okay.
Because I guarantee you women, y'all can probably play the fool right now, but you can look at a man and look at how he's behaved, you know what I'm saying? The things he have, you know what I'm saying? The way he carry himself to ask certain questions.
But I don't know. Trill, what do you think? Because to me, I think that's tacky. I just wouldn't ask a guy on the first date, like, do you pay bills? Are you going to be able to?
This was an episode on Trill Show.
In a relationship, is that something that you're going to be able to do? Like, I just cannot see myself doing that on the first date. I don't think that most men, regardless, like he could have picked me up in a Ferrari. I'm still on the first date not going to ask, hey, you know, if this moves forward, like, are you going to be willing to take over a bill? Like, I don't see that. Do y'all do that?
No, I feel like certain things are just automatically assumed. Like if you jump out the window on the first date talking about paying bills, that's gonna be the last date. That's because again, like for that to be that far to the front of your, brain on the first date, you talking about paying bills. No, it's automatically assumed. If this shit goes forward and yes, we get to a serious place in terms of engagement, marriage, then I'll pay your bills. But in terms of dating and getting bills paid, that is out of the question. Like I don't know. I don't know how most men move or whatever, but for me, that's not happening, sweetheart. No, at all. Like it's not even a conversation. You can get the other dudes you talking to pay bills and things of that nature. But when we get serious and engaged and married, of course, you know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna have the same bills at that point. But for us to be dating and me to be paying my bills and your bills, and we ain't even really official like that for real. You might be having other niggas come through there enjoying the insurance that I'm paying. Hell no, no ma'am. We not doing those things. Ooh. But in terms of expectation of sex, hell yeah, man, expect some sex. But again, just like women expect protection and provision to a certain extent. Let's be honest here, especially in the dating stage, man is spending more money than you spending. That's a fact. Anybody saying anything other than that is lying, right? So again, expectations go both ways, but it's about moderation until we are serious and we are a serious item. Then after that, then we can break all of that moderation down and just do our thing. But paying bills in the dating stage is out of the fucking question.
But if anybody feels suitable, because most people lead with what they feel suitable to have a conversation about. The fact that you felt suitable to talk about that lets me know that you have some challenging responsibilities. And that those are the things that are important to you before anything
I think we agree with you, Bruiser. I think where we're going wrong is we agree with you. We agree with you. We agree with Trill. But on the flip side, is it okay for a man to come in early on asking women things about providing a home for him, cooking and cleaning and things like that a woman would typically do in a relationship?
Who does that?
Where do you draw the line for that? Men?
Why are we acting like men do that on the high rate where it's credible enough to have a conversation about?
Men do. I've heard men bring up certain talking points like this on dates.
Those guys are probably 40 and 50 years old.
No,
because young guys ain't thinking about marriage.
Guys in their 30s.
No, they're thinking about food. We're talking about cooking and cleaning, Bruiser. And some of the examples you used.
I think y'all doing what y'all did earlier again. But I'll play it. Let's go.
Well, we're about to go in a minute.
The show, we only have 13 minutes left in the show. But I mean, let me just go ahead and let me do the super chats. We got 13 minutes left. Do the super chats. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all give the video a thumbs up right now. Go ahead and like the stream. If you're not liking the stream, like it right now. JP for president, $10. Thanks, bro. Says Trill, I think that I need to be on cruise season. LOL. I'll be good. LOL. LOL. LOL.
The fact that he had to say he'll be good.
He said he's gonna be good. Jay Prince, shout out to y'all. Thank you so much, Jay. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming through. Ray Alexander, Bruiser, can you accept that a girlfriend or wife has the right to not participate in certain sex acts based on her values, religion, comfort, etc.?
Yes, I will accept it. But when you get married, then your moral values, religion, comfort should be adjust to complement your life partner. So you should have, it's a sacrifice. When you get into marriage, you got to make sacrifices. The thing is, you get to choose which ones you want to make. So if you really get in a marriage and you want a marriage to last, then you would do that. You would do those things and your partner would understand.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Thanks, Ray. Forgot
no
there was
pushback.
also one from Eugene.
Take the W.
What'd you say, Bruiser?
So no pushback. I'll take the W.
No, you're actually one of my favorite male panelists. So
Eugene,
I'm clipping this. I am clipping this because the day you cuss me out, I'm gonna play this right at. I'm gonna put a clip together of this, what you just said, and you cussing me out on the same
I would
video.
never. Hey,
oh my goodness!
Now go back and look when you've seen me fight. There was a reason. But other than that, we good.
I've seen you get down, girl. I love it. Hey, I like how you be going back and forth with Anton, though. Is he your worst?
Hold on. Let me read Eugene.
No,
we can in the last 10 minutes or whatever y'all want to talk about. But Eugene, thank you so much. $10. Appreciate you. Love your support. You are literally awesome. And I thank you so much. You and your wife watch, and support me. When dating, your main objective is to get to know each other. Once you know each other, you can see where your relationship takes you. It will take having conversations. And I totally agree to that. Like Trill said, there's not some things don't need to be discussed. They don't need to be discussed. You don't need to ask me about cooking and cleaning. You'll see that through when you come to my house. You'll see that if I invite you to dinner. I don't need to ask if you pay a bill or not. I'll see that through you offering, hey, babe, is there anything you need? I'll see that through you saying, hey, babe, the tread on your tires looks like this one looks like it needs a new one. I don't know. I'll see that through how you deal with me and what level of care you giving me. I'll just automatically see that. So I think that most times people should fully focus on getting to know the person, seeing their actions, if their words match their actions, versus using talking points on these dating shows from these dating shows, from these relationship panels, and taking them these talking points to like actual dates. So that's what I'll say about that. Because you
know what, I'm surprised when you were on Ready to Love, nobody used those talking points from the manosphere.
Because they really don't exist outside of the manosphere. Like regular people that aren't on YouTube, they do not know about them talking points. They do not identify with a lot of those talking points. A part of it is starting to take over Instagram because now all these places want to like post clips from pods. But other than that, regular people do not subscribe.
Yeah.
Like most people I know do not subscribe or know about these YouTube talking points. They just really don't.
Yeah, I never heard of that until I came into YouTube like 4 months ago. I was like, whoa.
Right. I never heard of a lot of stuff before I joined Lapeef. I was literally like, it's wild.
But see, here's my thought on it. I never heard it in the way the terminology. I just got introduced to the terminology. I knew about the concept, the intent behind the message.
Right.
I had enough experience to be able to understand it, but I never translated into the terms they use today. So I can understand a lot of the stuff they're saying, and it is relatable, and some of it does make sense, but some of it does get repetitive, and it kind of sounds like somebody's just repeating stuff to try to gain notoriety.
Yeah.
And that's really what the whole pod was about today, is how that's becoming a pandemic of its own, that people want to be the new king of the pod, that people want to be the new Kevin Samuels, the new Joe Budden, like the Joe Rogan, like everybody feels like that they want to be known and be somebody in the internet podcast space, that now it's become oversaturated with pretenders, people that don't really know what they're talking about, people that don't have the experience to back up what they're talking about, and people that are committed to certain talking points, ideologies, and it's no longer fun conversation. It's people like pushing their ideologies on others and making judgments. And
it's actually real dark. It's very dark. Like if you step on the outside of it, if you go to the other side of YouTube, it's completely different. And there's different sides of YouTube, right, that you can get caught up on. It can be very dark on these platforms. And what I mean by dark is just really negative energy, right? You literally have to say, oh, I got to take a break. But if you experience the other side of YouTube where people are like, it's professionals, you can still have your talking points and say it in a very productive manner, where you got people like from ages 24 to 70 that tune in to listen to you. That says a lot. Like when you get on the other side. So it's a way I don't know. It's just, I guess it's choose your poison.
Open our minds and choose more different voices that we listen to. And I also agree to that. And that's why I have my different content, different things that I do, because I genuinely want people to see all the different sides of me and the things I have to offer that I do have experience behind and that I can showcase. Because like y'all all know, I went to school for journalism. I am a journalist and I came from this lane before the podcast lane. So just trying to find my way in between it. And just making the best of it. I really am thinking about doing a roast because I just think it would be great for people that are fun and want to participate. So look out for this in 2023. I will be picking specific people to be on this panel that I know can handle this and keep this fun. So yeah, I will be doing this is stuff that I did with my dad growing up. Like we definitely will roast each other. And it's
man, Kayla, won't you do one of them?
Wait. Huh?
Won't you do one of them shoot your shot things?
Me?
Lord have mercy. I mean, if you want to do that, go ahead. But I was thinking maybe you could, you got a lot of friends that may be beautiful out there in Miami.
Oh, you know what?
In Atlanta, in New York, and all the places you travel.
Actually,
so you might be able to get one girl, especially on these reality TV shows that a lot of people think are very, very hot and attractive. You might be able to pull them up for.
I've been getting DMs from people I know, about my castmates. So maybe that's a good idea, Bruiser. I'll have you co-host.
You got the network, so it's like you can you got something a lot of people don't have. Like you got a network of people that's actually, public figures, than just people just pulling up random what do you call it, OnlyFans girls and stuff. You actually got people that got like a household name that you can pull on here and be like, hey, look. He's just this entertainment. Let a dude shoot a shot, see if he can actually,
See
is
if
he a
can
go
watch
or
the
no
whole
go?
game. So you know what? Stay tuned in 2023. I have a lot of great things, a lot of great content coming. The roast is coming. Kay and Kayla show is coming back. So I'm definitely open to a shoot your shot or trying to get chose. And see how that goes.
That will be dope.
Y'all just stay tuned because all of this stuff will be rolling out in the next 2 weeks. I'm actually going to have a calendar that's going to come out on January 1st, 2023. That's going to have the different shows on my channel, 3 different shows every week. Y'all already know Cooking with Kayla. Y'all already know Today with Kay on Wednesdays and the Kay and Kayla show. And we'll see where the Trying to Get Chose is going to fit in. That more than likely will be on Thursdays. But stay tuned because I am really excited about the different content. I really want to move away from that dark space. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm super excited to move away from that space. So coming up next, everybody, make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for everybody watching today. Got some housekeeping. Mr. Redu?
I think so.
Manosphere talking points are simply real life into words. Maybe not. I don't know. But thank you so much for the super chat. $5. I really appreciate that. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all here every single week, Wednesday, 8:30 East. Y'all know I try to keep the show under 90 minutes, and I did that today. We're right at our 90-minute mark. Thank y'all so much for watching. Head over to cruise season. That starts soon, right? Yeah.
And y'all let Trill know when y'all go over there if you want a stand up strong brother. Come over there and give y'all some wisdom. Let him know I'm here.
Come on, bring your backbone.
Hey, listen, when I go, one thing you got to know, Kayla, tell you, when I get on the panels with a large group, hey, I'm very precise, and sometimes my words and my responses will cut deep.
It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, Bruiser's definitely a great panelist. So I definitely look forward to seeing you guys here next week. Next week is going to be quite spicy because it's going to be the last show before the New Year's. So I'm turning it up. So if you are going to be on the panel next week, prepare yourselves for some fun because it's definitely going to be a lit one. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Oh, don't forget to enter the giveaway for New Year's. If you haven't entered, then make sure you enter. Don't forget to shout out to Pink District, our sponsor, adult toys, adult clothing. Keep it spicy for your man in 2022 and, get something hot for your girl. It's definitely a store. So I look forward to seeing y'all here next week, every week right here on Today with Kay. It's your girl, Kayla. We'll see you next time.